In the third example, the word problem is the sum of three consecutive numbers is 72. What are the smallest of these numbers? So in that question it says what's the smallest number of the three consecutive numbers. So pause this video to copy down the word problem and then we're going to work on it next. So again, the word problem, it says the sum of three consecutive numbers is 72. So three consecutive numbers, we don't know the value, so I'm going to write x plus y plus z equal 72. Now the reason I wrote as x plus y plus z, it says the sum of three consecutive numbers is 72. So it's kind of hard to find x, y, and z because you won't be able to find them without guessing and checking, and that can take a while. But here's the thing. Let's talk about patterns of consecutive numbers. Let me do an example. The easiest consecutive numbers, three consecutive number, is 1, 2, and 3. If I label this as my x, my y, and my z, to go from x to y, I added 1. So y equals x plus 1. To go from 1 to 3, I added 2, so z is equal to x plus 2. So if I were to determine my y value and my z value, had I known that x is 1, I can find that my y value is 2 and my z value is 3. Now let's do another set of consecutive numbers. So let's say 21, not 21, 27, 28, 29. So these are three consecutive numbers. If I label my x as 27, my 28 is y, and my 29 is z. So to find y, I look at my numbers. To go from 27 to 28, I basically added 1 to x. So y equal x plus 1. So if x was 27 plus 1, then y is 28. To get 29, which is my z, I basically added 2 to my x value. So z is x plus 2. So to review, if x was 27 and I added 2, so my z value is 29. So you see there's a pattern that we're following through. So if I'm going to follow this pattern, then I can actually substitute for y and z. Since there are different values, different variables, it's hard to solve without guessing and checking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the equation y equals x plus 1, z equals x plus 2, plug it in, and you see what happens. Parenthesis, for y is going to be x plus 1, plus, parenthesis, z, it will be x plus 2, equals 72. So all I did was plug in x plus 1 for my y, x plus 2 for my z. Since it's a plus in front of the parenthesis, I'm going to drop it. So it's going to be x plus 1 plus x plus 2 equals 72. So I'm going to combine my terms, my like terms. So x plus x plus x, that's 3x. And then my numbers, 1 plus 2, which is plus 3, equals 72. So there's our equation. Now from there, I want to cancel out the plus 3. So minus 3 on the left, minus 3 on the right. So 3x equals 72 minus 3 would be 69. I'm going to divide by 3. So my x will be 69 divided by 3 will be 23. So my final answer is x equals 23. Now the reason I stopped here was because let's plug in for x 23. So it says consecutive numbers, that means 24 and 25. If I were to add these numbers, so I'm going to do 23, 24, 25. 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 5 is 12, so put 2 here, carry the 1. 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, that's actually 72. So these are the consecutive numbers that we were looking for. But the question was, what are the smallest of these numbers? Meaning, what is the smallest consecutive number? In this case, it's 23. So x equals 23. So I didn't have to write x equals 24 or x equals 25 or find which one is the smallest. We already did that from the very beginning. So our final answer is x equals 23. Now using the same example, x plus y plus z equals 72, where x, y, z are consecutive numbers. Here's another method that I'm used to it after I've done 100 of these, or I should say practice 100 of these, is that since there's 3 consecutive numbers, what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide 72 by 3. So 3 will go into 7 2 times. So that's 6. Subtract. I'm left with 1. Bring down to 2, making it 12. 3 goes into 12 4 times. So 4 times 3 is 12. My remainder is 0, which means I'm good to go. Now, this only works if we have odd amount of consecutive number. So let me repeat. This only works if we had odd amount of consecutive numbers. For example, we have 3 consecutive numbers. So it only works if you have 3 consecutive numbers. It also works if you have, for example, 5 consecutive numbers, or 7 consecutive number, or 9 consecutive number. So this method only works if you have odd amount of consecutive numbers. Now if we look, I got 72 divided by 3 is 24. So the answer I get, that's going to be our middle number. So 24 plus z plus x equals 72. So if y is 24, meaning if 24 is the middle number, so let me write it out. If 24 is the middle number, and I'm looking for x, sorry, not y, and z. In order to find my x value, which is the smaller value, and it's right next to 24, well, heck, I'm just going to subtract minus 1. So therefore, x is 23. If my z value is next to 24 but higher, well then I'm going to add 1. So therefore my z is 25. So again, if you know the middle number, you can find your lower consecutive number by subtracting 1 and find your higher consecutive number by adding 1, 23 and 25. And if I were to double check my numbers, so 23, 24, 25, to double check, 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 5 is 12, carry the 1, 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, that's 72. So I found my correct consecutive 3 numbers, which is 23, 24, and 25. And the question was, what is the smallest of the consecutive number? So x equals 23. So that's our final answer. 23 is our smallest consecutive number. So this method is a bit faster, but it only works if you had an odd amount of consecutive numbers. It's going to be a different process if you have an even amount of consecutive numbers. So make sure you do some practice for that. But this method works if you have an odd amount of consecutive numbers.